Hey everybody, it's Julie Ebersol for EllenHutson.com. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I'm going to be doing a swing and slide penguin card featuring an image from a brand new stamp set called Arctic Pals that will be releasing January 7th. And to get started, I'm going to grab an iceberg that's from the set as well as this really cute penguin, and I'm going to get them situated there on my Mini Misty and ink up with Tuxedo Black ink by Memento. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to be coloring with some Copic markers. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that stamped onto some Neenah Solar White. This is a 110-pound scrap that I had in my bin. And I'm going to ink and stamp it twice because I wanted to get a really nice saturation of black ink. And then I'm going to grab my Copic markers. I'll have all of the different colors listed down below. And I'm just using this really soft kind of snow green color to highlight the iceberg because that color of blue tends to make white images look whiter. And then I'm going to color in the penguin with a little bit of golden yellow for his beak and for that little fluff there, under his chin. And then grab some milky white to kind of blend that out just a little bit and trace his belly area. And I could also have outlined him with that soft snow green color, but I thought it looked really cool this way, so that's why I'm doing it. And then I'm going to grab those matching dies and go ahead and get these images die cut out so that they're ready to go. And I'm going to start planning my layout here by taking the iceberg die cut and one of those dies from the Swing and Slide die set and a sentiment from the Arctic Pals stamp set. Go ahead, once I've got that figured out, I'm going to mask off. I've rotated this card front. This is a quarter sheet of Neenah Solar White that is going to be mounted to a base card, and I'm going to mask off the top area of that. Sometimes it's easier for me to rotate it upside down and then start doing what I need to do. So now I'm going to take my ink pads, and these are some Memento Luxe ink pads in hues of blue. I wanted to create kind of a frozen Arctic Ocean effect. So I'm just using a direct to paper method by just swiping the ink pads across the surface of the paper. And you do want to make sure that your ink pads are very well inked and juicy for this technique so that you don't end up tearing the foam away from the base of the ink pad. So once that's finished, I can go ahead and very carefully peel that painter's tape there back on itself. This is that yellow frog tape that works so well for masking things off. And I'm going to peel that off very carefully, and then I'm going to heat set this ink because I'm going to do some die cutting over the top of it, and I do not want that ink to transfer to my dies or my cutting pads, or at least as minimally as possible. So now I'm going to go ahead and take that really fun semicircle shape from the Swing and Slide dies and get that mounted in place with some washi tape. And then I'm going to remove the iceberg because I don't really need it at this point. I just kind of wanted to determine placement. So I run that through my Big Shot, and you can see here I've got this piece that got die cut out, and I'm actually going to set that aside and reserve it for future use. Now I need to get my sentiment stamped on there. So again, I'm using my Mini Misty to plan where that's going to go. And then I'll ink up once again with the Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm going to give it 2 inkings and impressions just to make sure I get a really nice saturated black effect. And I love the fact that I can stamp this twice to get that effect and not worry about, whether or not I got it right the first time. So now I'm going to temporarily mount this to my base card. I've already trimmed it down so it's got about a 1/8 inch border all the way around. And I'm using the tape runner to just anchor it temporarily or tack it temporarily to my base card so that I can go ahead and take this piece and nest it back into the negative. And I'm using Tombow Mono Multi adhesive there on the back of that. And I'm just going to set it down in there. Got my tweezers there. Those things, I swear, I don't think I can make a single card without my tweezers. And then I'm going to carefully remove that top panel. You can see how that is set in place where it needs to be. And then I'm going to grab my iceberg and start finishing up this top layer. So I'm going to use some of these really thin foam mounting squares. And those are by Scrapbook Adhesive. I love these things because they're not quite as thick as regular foam tape or pop-up dots. And then once I have that in place, I also added some foam mounting tape, and I doubled up on the layers of foam mounting tape on the back of this panel because I need to have the clearance for that slider or spinner to go around on that track. So now I'm going to make my spinner mechanism by punching 2 1/2-inch circles from just some scrap cardstock. And again, I'm going to use the Tombow Mono Multi to glue these My Favorite Things replenishments. This is kind of like a pop dot, but it's a hard plastic piece, so it's very smooth. And I'm just going to sandwich it in here and make kind of a replenishment sandwich, if that's what, that's the way I think of it. helps me remember how things are going to go. And then you do need to let it dry very thoroughly. Once it's completely dry, just in case you have any glue in there that's exposed and tacky, I'm going to use a powder tool to go in there and deactivate it just to make sure it doesn't get hung up on the track as it's going around. So now I've gone ahead and slipped it into the track, and then I decided that I needed just a little bit more foam tape there closer to that piece to keep that area of the track properly elevated. And then I'm going to go ahead and start peeling away the liner paper from the foam adhesive tape. Now I've left a couple of little handles there. I didn't remove it completely all the way so that I could use those. And if I needed to reposition this, I had a little bit of fudge room. Once I'm sure I've got that exactly where I need it, I can go ahead and remove the liner from the perimeter there and press down firmly all around the edges and the center and make sure it's mounted properly. Now I've got a glue dot here. You could use anything you want to mount the penguin here to that little disc, but I like doing that rather than trying to mount the penguin straight on to the little disc. I think it just gives it more stability. And then I'm going to go ahead and embellish my card with some ice stickles. This is going to give my iceberg some really fun glittery effect. And also the penguin, I went ahead and spread some there on the penguin so that he would sparkle too. And then when you tilt the card back and forth, you've got this really cute sliding, spinning effect. It works really great and especially awesome if you don't have any pennies to use the way we do in a traditional penny slider. If you enjoyed this video, please show us some love by giving us a thumbs up. You can see more of our papercraft videos by clicking on the photos below, and you can also subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.